Good morning, children. Today's my topic is electrolytic cell. Earlier we studied electrochemical cell. In electrochemical cell we are converting chemical energy into electrical energy. Now in electrolytic cell we are going just the opposite of it. In the electrolytic cell we are going to convert electrical energy into chemical energy. Actually, this electrolytic cell is, you can say, a device which we use to convert electrical energy into chemical energy. Okay. Now, electrolytic cell is made up of any insulating material. It is just like a vessel which is made up of any insulating material. This may be of glass, rubber, wood, or anything who is non-conducting in nature. Okay, the substance which we want to electrolyze taken into the form of molten state, or we have taken the substance into its aqueous solution. Okay, again I will explain you. This is electrolytic cell which is made up of any insulating material. The substance which we want to electrolyze, either we take in the molten state or we take in the form of its aqueous solution. The two electrodes we will dip into it. Now the electrode which is connected with a positive terminal of the battery is called anode. And anode have a positive charge. Pay attention, in my electrochemical cell, anode is negatively charged, while in my electrolytic cell, anode is positively charged. Now the other electrode which is connected with a negative terminal of the battery, this is called cathode and having a negative charge. Later we will talk about these electrodes. At present, assume the electrodes are made up of graphite. Here I have taken the substance either in the form of molten state or in the form of its aqueous solution. The two electrodes are dipped in it. One electrode I connected with a positive terminal of battery, which is called anode. Now remember, this is a positive terminal of the battery, and if you remember, in electrochemical cell the positive terminal is called cathode and negative terminal is called anode. Okay, so when we are passing electricity through it, it causes some of the chemical changes. Suppose I have a solution of AB. I have taken AB is any substance which I have taken. Suppose I have taken its aqueous solution. Now AB is going to dissociate A plus B minus. Fine. Now this A have a positive charge, so it definitely moves towards a negative charge, which means cathode. So at cathode. Now the A plus moving towards cathode, and as you know, and cathode always reduction is going to take place. So A plus capture electron, A is going to form. Now the B have a negative charge, so it will move toward the positive electrode. So I write here at anode, and on anode oxidation is going to take place. Fine. And oxidation means loss of electron, you know all very well. Now, the main problem is that whenever you are electrolyzing any substance, even in the form of molten state or in the form of its aqueous solution, who is going to reduce and who is going to oxidize, that is decided by their standard reduction potentials. Okay. Okay. Suppose we are electrolyzing molten NaCl. Now this time electrolytic cell I have taken molten NaCl. Now the NaCl is going to dissociate Na plus and Cl minus. Now Na have a positive charge, so it will definitely move towards cathode. So at cathode, Now at cathode, the Na plus capture electron and I can obtain sodium. Fine. If cathode is a place where reduction is going to take place. Now at anode, the Cl minus is undergoing oxidation by losing electrons and I can obtain the chlorine gas. So when you are electrolyzing molten NaCl, at cathode you can obtain sodium and at anode you can obtain chlorine gas. Suppose in the same case, this time we are electrolyzing aqueous solution of NaCl. This is the electrolysis of molten NaCl. Now suppose we are going to electrolyze aqueous solution of NaCl, then let's see what happens. Okay, NaCl again going to dissociate as it is Na plus Cl minus. Now water also dissociate and gives me H plus and OH minus. Now Na also have a positive charge, H also have a positive charge, so I think they both are rushing towards the cathode. But the reduction potential of Na plus is near about minus 2.71 volt, while the standard reduction potential of hydrogen is 0. Fine. This time we are electrolyzing aqueous solution of NaCl. Now the reduction potential of H plus is more than Na plus. So this time Na plus will not reduce at cathode. And at cathode, who will be reduced? H plus. So H plus reduced, converted into hydrogen gas. Fine. Na plus remain in the solution. That's why we have a question. Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals cannot be obtained by electrolyzing their aqueous solutions, because the problem is that in aqueous solution H plus ions are present and the reduction potential of H plus is greater than any alkali metal or any alkaline earth metal. That's why hydrogen will be preferably reduced. Okay. Now there is again question, who will be oxidized? Because Cl also have a negative charge, OH also have a negative charge. Now they both are rushing towards the anode. Fine. The question is that who is going to preferably. Okay, earlier we have seen that H plus will be preferably reduced because the reduction potential of H plus is greater than Na plus. Now the Cl minus and OH minus, they both are rushing towards anode. Now the question is that who is going to oxidize? Now you can see these equations. Actually in this process, in both of these places, you can see this is actually oxidation is going to take place. At the same time water is also undergoing oxidation. You can see, fine. But you are always provided with the reduction potentials. Okay. Now as you know, if we change the sign, we will have a oxidation potential. If we are provided with the reduction potentials, change the sign, we will get an oxidation potential. So oxidation potential of water is minus 1.23 and oxidation potential of Cl minus will be minus 1.36. Now who is greater? Definitely minus 1.23 is greater. So water should be oxidized, it means OH minus should be oxidized. So when you are electrolyzing aqueous solution of NaCl, H plus preferably reduced, that we already discussed earlier. But the question is that who is going to oxidize? These potentials are telling me that water should preferably oxidize rather than Cl minus. But actual practice, when we are going to electrolyze the aqueous solution, actually we obtain the chlorine gas at anode. Then question arises, why it's so? The oxidation potential of this reaction is greater than this reaction. Then we must have an oxygen gas at anode, not a chlorine gas. But in actual practice, we will obtain a chlorine gas. Okay, so the logic behind this is called over voltage. Actually, the transfer of the electrons from water molecules to a particular electrode is kinetically very slow process. And if a reaction is very slow, it required a huge amount of activation energy. So you can say the water molecules are creating a such kind of resistance around the electrode. Now to overcome this resistance, we required some more potential. And due to this reason, water is not going to oxidize and Cl- will be preferably oxidized and we can obtain a chlorine gas. Again, I make you clear. According to these given potentials, which are actually reduction potentials, if we change the sign, we will have an oxidation potential. And no doubt the oxidation potential of water is more than the oxidation potential of Cl-. So water should be preferably oxidized. But due to phenomena of the overvoltage. Now what is the overvoltage? The transfer of the electrons from water molecules to a particular electrode is kinetically very slow process. It means the water molecules are creating a kind of resistance around the electrode. And to overcome this resistance, we required some more voltage, and that phenomena is called overvoltage. And due to the concept of overvoltage, the water is not going to oxidize and Cl- will be preferably oxidized, and I have a chlorine gas at anode. Fine. So this way we have to make a help of their standard potentials to decide who is going to preferably oxidize and who is going to preferably reduced. Okay, now suppose we are electrolyzing the aqueous solution of silver nitrate by using platinum electrodes. Now why I am emphasizing stress over platinum electrode? Very soon you will understand. Okay, silver nitrate, AgNO3. I think in the water it dissociates Ag plus and NO3 minus. Now the reduction potential of Ag plus ions is near about 0.80 volt, while the reduction potential of H plus ions, as you know very well, 0. Fine. So this time Ag plus ions will be preferably reduced. So we will write here at cathode. Now at cathode, the Ag plus ions capture this electron and silver is going to deposit it. Fine. Now at anode, the OH minus and NO3 minus, they both are rushing, but OH minus will be preferably oxidized. So OH minus will be oxidized to O2. Now this equation you can balance as you are balancing redox reactions. Fine. You can see in OH minus the oxidation number of oxygen is -2. Now -2 is converted into 0. So how many electrons lost? -2 to 0. 2 electrons are lost. So you can write here 2 electrons. Now if you write it 2 electrons, this side we have a 2 negative charge, so we make it here 2. Now this side we have a 2 hydrogen. Fine. This side no hydrogen. Okay, then what should we do? Okay, we have to add, we can add water molecule, there is not a problem. But if we add a water molecule, then who is going to imbalance? That is oxygen. Okay, so let again we balance it. First I made it now to balance this hydrogen. Okay, if I write here H2O. Now if I write H2O, you can see the oxygen is not balanced. So I can write here half O2, no problem. Fine. So now I think this balance. Now if you are finding this is half is not looking good, you can multiply the equation by 2. So 4OH minus gives me O2 plus 4 electron plus 2 H2O. So when you are electrolyzing aqueous solution of silver nitrate, then silver is going to obtain at cathode and oxygen gas is going to liberate at anode. But suppose the same process you are doing, but instead of the platinum electrodes, now this time you use the silver electrodes. Now the platinum and graphite, they are inert electrodes. They are not participating in a reaction. Their role is only to carry out the charge. But suppose we are electrolyzing aqueous solution of silver nitrate, and this time we are using. Okay, so again now we are electrolyzing silver nitrate solution, but this time I am using silver electrodes. Let's see what happened. Okay, now the AgNO3 is again going to dissociate as usual, Ag plus NO3 minus, fine. Now at cathode, Ag plus ions capture electron and Ag will be reduced. But this time at anode, your silver electrodes are going to oxidize, and that is going to participate in a reaction. If you remember, children, this concept we use in the case of the refining of the metals in class 10th, where the pure silver, the metal which you want to purify, the purest form of metal is taken in the form of cathode, and the impure form of metal is taken in the form of anode. So this is the case where electrode is participating in a reaction. So whenever you are asked to write the products, if you are electrolyzing silver nitrate solution, please see whom I am using as electrodes. If I am using platinum electrodes, their role is only to carry out the charge. But if you are using same metal electrodes, then they are also going to participate in a reaction. And here you can see your anode keep on dissolving while your cathode will become thicker, thicker and thicker. And if you remember, this we used in class 10, refining of copper metal. When we take the copper sulfate solution, impure copper rod taken as anode and the pure copper rod is taken as cathode.